I'm 65 and I've started avoiding people. Here's why. Reaching this age changes how we view life, relationships, and time. For years, I was always there for everyone. Friends, family, neighbors. But over time, I learned not every connection is worth the energy it takes. At 65, stepping back isn't about bitterness. It's about protecting my peace. It's about valuing my time and focusing on what truly matters in life. In this video, I'll share the lessons that led me to this decision. I'll talk about how time feels more precious as we age. I'll explore how relationships naturally evolve over the years. And I'll explain why solitude now brings me joy, not loneliness. If this resonates with you, or even challenges your perspective, you're in the right place. We'll explore how embracing these truths can lead to a simpler, more fulfilling life. Let's get started. 1. Time feels more precious than ever. At 65, one thing becomes crystal clear. Time is no longer infinite. When we were younger, it felt like we had all the time in the world. We wasted hours on meaningless conversations and unfulfilling relationships. We took on obligations out of guilt, draining our energy and joy. But now every moment feels like a gift, too valuable to squander. This change doesn't come from fear. It comes from wisdom. Time isn't just a number on a clock. It's the foundation of my life. Every sunrise feels brighter, and meaningful conversations feel deeper. Even quiet moments like sipping coffee or walking in the park hold new meaning. I've realized not everything and everyone deserves a slice of my time. This isn't selfish. It's practical. As we grow older, it's essential to ask, is this worth my energy? Does it bring me joy? Does it align with my values? If the answer is no, I let it go, guilt-free. Time spent on what doesn't matter steals from what truly does. Simplifying relationships has been life-changing. I no longer say yes to every invitation or engage in shallow conversations. Instead, I seek out real connections where I can truly be myself. A heartfelt conversation over tea beats a crowded, impersonal gathering every time. This isn't about isolation. It's about honoring the life I want to live. I've started seeing time as a trusted companion. It reminds me to slow down and savor moments I once rushed through. It encourages me to choose wisely because every choice carries weight, and it reassures me that letting go of what no longer serves me is okay. You're not alone in feeling this way. There's no rule book for how to spend your time at this stage of life. Here's what I've discovered. Focus on what truly matters. Time isn't about how much you have. It's about what you do with it. Protect it fiercely. Fill it with purpose, peace, and uplifting people. When you treat time as the treasure it is, your entire life becomes more meaningful. 2. Relationships change, and so do we. As the years pass, relationships evolve, and so do we. At 65, I've accepted a hard truth. Not every relationship is meant to last forever. This isn't a failure. It's simply life moving forward. When I was younger, I believed relationships needed constant effort to maintain. I remembered every birthday, attended every gathering, and reached out even when drained. I thought being there for everyone made me a good friend, neighbor, or family member. But over time, I realized something important. Not all relationships are equal. Some relationships nurture you, while others leave you feeling depleted. This shift in perspective didn't happen overnight. It came with experience. I've been hurt by people I trusted and disappointed by those I relied on. I've even grown distant from family members as our paths diverged. For a long time, I took these losses personally, wondering, what did I do wrong? But now I see it differently. People change, and I've changed too. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is let go. One of the most freeing lessons I've learned is to focus on mutual relationships. Healthy relationships aren't about giving endlessly without receiving in return. They're about balance, supporting and being supported equally. Ask yourself, does this person bring light into my life or take it away? Do they listen as much as they speak? Do they support me as much as I support them? As I've grown older, my circle of connections has naturally grown smaller, but the relationships that remain are richer and more meaningful. The friends and family still in my life are the ones who truly matter. They understand me, accept me, and bring joy to my days. I no longer waste energy holding on to connections that don't align with who I am. That doesn't mean there aren't moments of nostalgia. I think about friends I've lost touch with or family members who've taken different paths, but instead of regret, I feel gratitude for what those relationships gave me. They shaped me, taught me lessons, and gave me memories to treasure. Even if they're not part of my present, they were an important part of my journey. So here's my advice. Don't hold on to relationships out of guilt or obligation. Like life, relationships are meant to evolve. Focus on those that bring you peace and let go of those that don't. By doing this, you'll surround yourself with love, authenticity, and meaningful connections. That's the kind of life worth living. 3. Trust becomes more complex. Trust is one of the most fragile yet vital parts of any relationship. At 65, I've learned that trust isn't something to give lightly anymore. It's a precious bond, and when it's broken, it leaves scars that take time, sometimes even a lifetime to heal. In my younger years, I trusted easily and believed in the goodness of people. I gave my heart, time, and loyalty freely, which brought many beautiful relationships. But it also brought heartbreak. I've been let down by people I never imagined would hurt me. A friend who valued what I could do for them more than who I was. A family member whose choices created distance between us. Even a colleague who prioritized their gain over our shared vision. These experiences didn't make me bitter, but they did make me careful. Now, when someone new enters my life, my first thought isn't, how can I connect with this person? But rather, what are their motives? It's not the easiest way to live, but it feels necessary. I've also realized trust isn't just about others. It's about trusting yourself. Learning to trust my instincts has been a life-changing lesson. If something doesn't feel right, I no longer dismiss it as paranoia. I've walked away from relationships that felt toxic, no matter how long they'd been in my life. Protecting my peace has proven to be worth the difficult decisions to let go. That said, trust is still possible. It's just different now. There are moments when people surprise me in the best ways. A kind stranger who goes out of their way to help. A neighbor who checks in during bad weather. These small, genuine gestures remind me that trust, while delicate, can be rebuilt. The key is balance. It's about setting boundaries, not walls, and giving trust gradually. It's about allowing people to earn it over time through consistency and kindness. It's about keeping your circle small and surrounding yourself with those who show respect. If you found yourself more guarded as you age, know that it's okay. Protecting your trust is a powerful form of self-care. It doesn't mean you're closing yourself off. It means you value yourself enough to be selective. And at this stage in life, that's exactly how it should be. 4. The world has changed. At 65, it's impossible not to notice how much the world has transformed. Life feels faster, busier, and more tech-driven than ever before. Yet for all the progress and convenience, something valuable seems lost. A sense of warmth, simplicity, and genuine connection. I grew up in a time when relationships felt more authentic. Neighbors weren't just people living nearby, they were friends. We'd visit each other without invitations, sharing coffee, stories, and laughter. Families gathered not out of obligation, but because they wanted to. Time spent together felt natural, meaningful, and unhurried. And now things are different. People are consumed by chasing success, managing endless to-do lists, and keeping up with the fast pace of modern life. Conversations that were once heartfelt and deep feel brief and rushed, squeezed into moments between notifications and distractions. Even family time feels strained, often limited by distance and busy schedules. Technology, while a blessing, has played a role in this shift. I'm grateful for video calls with my grandchildren or reconnecting via social media. These tools make life more convenient, but they also create barriers. Nothing replaces sitting across from someone, feeling their presence, and hearing their voice unfiltered by a screen. Sometimes I miss the simplicity of being together without interruptions. The constant hum of notifications, updates, and endless news feels overwhelming. Ironically, in this hyper-connected world, many of us feel more isolated. We have countless ways to stay in touch, yet genuine connections feel harder to find. This isn't about resisting change or longing for the past. Every era has its challenges, and every generation adapts. But at 65, I find myself valuing simplicity more than ever. I choose to step away from the noise and focus on what truly matters. Heartfelt conversations, meaningful relationships, and the quiet joy of shared moments. If you feel the same, know that it's okay to slow down. It's not about rejecting modern life. It's about deciding where to place your energy. By stepping back from the rush, we can protect the parts of life that feel real. In a fast-moving world, seeking simplicity isn't giving up. It's about holding on to what matters most. 5. Solitude isn't loneliness. Solitude and loneliness are two entirely different things. Understanding this distinction has been one of the most freeing lessons of my life. Loneliness is an ache, an emptiness that stems from a longing for connection. Solitude, however, is a choice, a space for peace, reflection, and renewal. It's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. In solitude, I've found a clarity that's impossible to achieve in life's daily rush. There's profound beauty in simple, quiet moments, sitting on the porch with a warm cup of tea, listening to the wind rustling through the trees, or watching the sun sink slowly below the horizon. These moments don't just fill time, they enrich it, reminding me of the small joys life has to offer. Reflecting on the past has also become a source of comfort during these quiet times. Instead of dwelling on mistakes or missed opportunities, I focus on lessons learned and memories that bring happiness. Solitude offers us space to look inward, to make peace with the life I've lived, and to feel gratitude for the person I've become. This doesn't mean I've withdrawn from people. On the contrary, solitude has deepened my appreciation for relationships. It's helped me focus on meaningful connections, rather than maintaining relationships out of obligation or habit. When I spend time with loved ones now, I'm truly present, savoring every moment we share. Solitude has also taught me to value myself. It's easy to believe that being surrounded by people defines your worth, but the truth is, your value doesn't come from the size of your social circle or the number of events on your calendar. It comes from within, from knowing who you are and what truly matters to you. If you've ever feared being alone, I encourage you to rethink that perspective. Solitude isn't a punishment, it's a gift. It's a chance to hear your own thoughts, to focus on what brings you peace, and to reconnect with yourself. The more you embrace solitude, the more you'll realize it's a source of strength and clarity. In the quiet of solitude, you can find balance and joy. You can let go of distractions and pressures, focusing instead on the life you want to live. It's not about isolation, it's about intention. In those moments of stillness, you may discover a deeper fulfillment than you ever thought possible. 6. Why I avoid people. Now, avoiding people isn't about bitterness or resentment. It's about protecting my peace. Over the years, I've learned that not every connection is worth maintaining, and not every social obligation deserves my time or energy. This realization didn't come easily, but it has been one of the most important lessons of my life. In my younger years, I believed in always being available. I wanted to be the reliable friend, the helpful neighbor, and the supportive family member. While that brought me joy for a time, it also left me drained. I gave too much of myself to relationships that weren't mutual and to situations that didn't align with my values. Life has a way of teaching us where to draw the line, even if it takes decades. I've experienced moments where my kindness was taken for granted, or my time was treated as if it had no value. I ignored red flags, thinking loyalty meant staying, even when it chipped away at my happiness. But now I see things differently. I understand that avoiding certain people isn't selfish. It's self-preservation. There's a profound peace in stepping away from toxic relationships and letting go of obligations that no longer serve me. I've traded the noise of constant social interactions for the quiet joy of meaningful solitude. Instead of stretching myself thin, trying to please everyone, I focus on a smaller, deeper circle of relationships. Connections that bring light and fulfillment to my life. This doesn't mean I've shut myself off completely. The people who remain in my life are there because they genuinely care, not because they expect something from me. These relationships are rooted in mutual respect and understanding, and they feel effortless in the best way possible. No drama, no competition, just genuine connection. I also avoid people who bring negativity into my life. Those who thrive on drama, constantly complain, or never ask how I'm doing. They no longer have space in my world. I've learned to prioritize my own well-being, even if that means saying no more often or choosing solitude over company. Avoiding people doesn't mean giving up on humanity. It means valuing myself enough to protect my peace. It's about choosing relationships that uplift, not drain, and seeking moments that truly matter. Life is too short to waste on what doesn't bring joy. In making this choice, I found a sense of freedom and happiness I didn't know was possible. 7. Is this a shared experience? Have you ever found yourself wondering, am I the only one who feels this way? As I've grown older, I've asked myself that question many times, especially as I've become more selective about the people I let into my life. But the more I talk to others around my age, the more I realize this isn't just my story, it's a shared experience. Life has a way of teaching us hard but valuable lessons about relationships, priorities, and self-worth. For decades, I tried to meet everyone's expectations. I wanted to be the dependable friend, the supportive family member, the neighbor who always showed up. But at some point, I realized the cost. I was pouring so much into others that I had little left for myself. As I've spoken with friends and peers, I've discovered a similar theme in their lives. Many of us reach a point where we no longer feel the need to be everything to everyone. We start choosing quality over quantity in relationships. The superficial connections that might have seemed important in our younger years lose their appeal. What we crave now are meaningful conversations, shared laughter, and relationships that feel genuine. This shift isn't easy. Sometimes it feels like letting go of parts of yourself. Saying no to people who once relied on you can feel selfish, but it's not. It's self-preservation. The truth is, we can't be everything for everyone, and trying to do so only leaves us drained and resentful. By stepping back, we create space for relationships that nourish us instead of depleting us. And here's the thing, you're not alone in this. Many people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond are making the same choices. It's not about pushing people away. It's about finding peace and clarity. It's about prioritizing your well-being and focusing on what truly matters. If you've noticed yourself pulling back from relationships that no longer serve you, it's not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that you're growing, evolving, and learning to value your time and energy. Letting go of what doesn't bring you joy opens the door for deeper, more meaningful connections. This stage of life isn't about how many people you have in your corner. It's about the quality of those connections. And if this resonates with you, take comfort in knowing that you're not alone. Together, we're learning how to embrace a life that's simpler, more fulfilling, and unapologetically authentic. Avoiding people at this stage of life isn't about shutting the world out. It's about protecting the peace we've worked so hard to find. Life at 65 is a chance to focus on what truly matters: meaningful relationships, moments of joy, and a sense of inner calm. It's not about bitterness or regret. It's about living intentionally. This chapter is a time to let go of toxic connections, unnecessary obligations, and the pressure to meet others' expectations. Instead, it's about embracing simplicity, authenticity, and gratitude. The journey has been filled with lessons, some painful, but all valuable, leading to a place of clarity and fulfillment. If you've been feeling the same, remember, it's okay to choose peace over chaos. It's okay to prioritize yourself. Life's true richness comes from the quality of your days, not the quantity of your commitments. Let this be the chapter where you live boldly, love deeply, and savor every moment.